We're live, guys.
All right.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for Workbank ThinkTank. I'm Tanya Mendoza, the Talent Development Officer of Workbank, the job site that lets you job hunt with benefits. Watch this for a preview of what Workbank is all about. Please regularly visit workbank.com for the freshest jobs that are available out there. We also have blogs to help you navigate your career and give you job hunting tips. Wherever you are in your career, Workbank is here to support you in every step of the way. But for now, please help me welcome my co-host for today, Workbank's HR Manager, Christian Rodriguez. Hello,
Yes,
Christian.
yes, hello, Tanya, and good afternoon to everyone watching. So again, thank you very much for supporting, of course, Workbank ThinkTank. Our topic today will definitely benefit anyone who wants to progress in their career. Ever heard, have you ever heard of the line, the blind side, Tanya?
Blind side. I think I've only heard it pag nagda-drive. Or is this like the side of yourself that you cannot see?
Yes, correct. No, tama ka tayo dyan. No? Well, everyone has a blind side. It's that side of your personality that you are unaware of, but of course, people around you can definitely see. Okay lang sana if they're always good traits, no? But they can also be bad traits din kasi that we unconsciously display in our environment. And this is one of the many benefits of having a coach. A coach is someone who is more experienced than us, who will guide us through the learning process. So, really good coaches, they can see our blind side. No, they help us become aware of it, and they help us change them if they are bad behaviors. But remember, do not forget, not everyone is coachable. Yan yung matututunan natin today, guys, from our subject matter expert later. How to be more coachable. Because being coachable is an essential part of coaching. Kahit gaano pa kagaling yung coach mo, kung hindi ka rin naman coachable, walang silbi, wala rin mangyayaring improvement sa'yo. Coaching, guys, like all relationships, it's a two-way street. Di ba? So, okay, medyo ang dami ko na sinasabi, no? So, it's time for me to give the floor, of course, to the expert, to our guest today. He is the CEO of ExecuServe HR Solutions and a very seasoned coach. So, let's all give a warm welcome to Edwin Ebreo.
Okay. Thank you, Christian,
Hi,
and
sir.
good afternoon to everyone who are watching us today at in YouTube. Ano? And thank you for this opportunity to talk about a topic that's very close to my heart, coachability. I'll tell you why this is very important to me. I've worked with a lot of people, no, doing mentoring and coaching, and also trained a lot of coaches myself. And there is one realization in this experience is that's exactly what you said, Christian. Kahit gaano kagaling yung coach, kapag yung tao ayaw magpa-coach, baliwala yung galing ng coach. So in this afternoon's opportunity to present this coachability framework, I'd like to invite everyone to look at the other side of a coaching relationship. Madalas kapag may mga training, ang napapag-usapan yung side ng coach. yung paano maging mahusay na coach. Ngayon ang pag-uusapan natin kung paano ka magiging mahusay na coachee. Okay, so let me share my presentation. Give me a couple of minutes here. All right, there you go. Okay, visible na ba from your end yung aking presentation? Yep.
Yes, I do.
Okay, sige. Before so this is our topic, how to be coachable. Before I continue, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a little bit about my company and what we do and how coaching is part of it. We are executive. I'm the CEO of Executive Corporation. We are a human resource and organization development consulting company. And for the last 13 years, we've worked with various organizations in the areas of training and consulting. And a little bit of information about yours truly. I've had some 20 plus years experience. Hindi ko na dinadagdagan ng number nung zero kasi masakit na sa dibdib no? In HR training and OD. And yeah, these are some of the things that I'm very passionate about. And you cannot talk about leadership without talking about coaching and mentoring. So that's who we are. No? So let me go back to my topic for this afternoon. I'd like to start with having a learning contract with whoever's going to see your show. No, there are a number of facts that we need to agree on. Number one is that according to Pine and Horn, learning is an experience which occurs inside the learner and is activated by the learner. Okay? So hindi activated yun nung napaka highly experienced na whoever, but it's a decision. It's a door that opens from the inside. No? Therefore, watching this video doesn't teach you anything unless you want to learn. Tama ba? I cannot teach you anything you don't want to learn. So, take responsibility for your own learning. Don't mind to participate. I know it's difficult to do here, but I think there is a comment section if you're watching this from FB where you can ask and hopefully get to learn and apply from this presentation. I invite you to get a pen and paper because I'm gonna ask a few questions, and I want you to make a note of how you're going to answer those questions. Hopefully, that leads to decisions, to apply what you're going to learn from this session. So, let me get started. Um, I'd like to start with this. Sabi ni Michael Jordan, my best skill was that I was coachable. I was a sponge and aggressive to learn. If you haven't seen this quote from Michael Jordan, and then I ask you, ano kaya ang best skill ni Michael Jordan? You're probably not going to think his coachable is the best skill, right? You'll probably think, magaling mag-basketball yan, among the best, if not the best in the world, legend when it comes to basketball. He knows everything there is to know about playing the game. You might even say he's a good leader. No, he's a good team leader, good team captain. But you won't say that his best skill is being coachable. But he himself said that. No? So the question now is, tayo ba, when it comes to coachability skill, nasaan yung level ng skill natin? Di ba? Imagine if you have the willingness of Michael Jordan to be coachable, to be aggressive to learn. Imagine how far you can go with whatever talent you have, because the talent is there. Marami akong mga nakakausap na mga talent agents, HR professionals, talent developers. 2-5 ang talent eh. 2-5 ang talent. But the ability to maximize the impact, the growth of that talent and put it to good use. That's rare because of the attitude, no? Another sports figure, si Desmond Howard, one of the popular commentators and used to be a player in American football, said no matter how talented you are, if you are not coachable, you are replaceable. So think about the process of coaching in sports. Ang mga teams, especially professional leagues team, they look for the best players out there, people with the best potential, and then train them. And if you are in a league like American football or NBA, you will attract the best talents, not just in the country but in the world. No? And Desmond is saying, even if you have the best talent, if you have the best potential, if you are not coachable, we will find someone who's probably not better than you, but better than you when it comes to coachability. Di ba? Napakahalaga nung attitude na 'yon of being coachable. Madalas kapag ka narinig, lalo na sa sa merong certain industries in the country na pagka narinig yung salitang coaching, ibig sabihin may nagawa kang mali at mapapagsabihan ka, di ba? Pagka sinabihan ka ng supervisor mo, I'm gonna table you for coaching, it's probably because you did something wrong and that coaching is corrective. That's why a lot of people tend to shun coaching, no? Pagka narinig nila yung salitang coaching, there's some degree of trepidation kasi ano na naman kaya nagawa kong mali. So we need to take a more proactive stance when it comes to coaching and coachability. Madalas ang nangyayari in the Philippine setting, pag sinabing coaching, ang may agenda yung especially in the workplace. Although there are certain professions, yung mga life coaches and executive coaches who are highly trained in what they do, take the agenda of the coachee, no, the client. But in the workplace, madalas yung coaching at saka mentoring na nangyayari, ang may agenda yung coach or yung mentor. Right? So what I want to do this afternoon is to convince you to take hold of the agenda, to take ownership of the agenda, and have your own coaching agenda as a coachee, not as a coach, but as a coachee. So how do you do that? Well, there are certain dimensions that we need to look at. Una is, let me put it out one by one. First is pursuing personal development. Okay. There is a reason why Michael Jordan was hungry and aggressive for learning. No? Why he is highly coachable? Because he has a personal development plan. Okay. So one of the main ingredients in coachability is having a goal. So that's the first one. I'll talk about that some more later. Second is seeking feedback. Not being open to feedback, no? Open to feedback is passive. Okay? We're not talking about openness to feedback here. We're talking about seeking it actively with hunger, soliciting feedback to whoever can help you get better. So that's the second. The third one is, merong mga tao mahilig humingi ng feedback pero hindi naman nakakatakot bigyan ng feedback because they don't respond well to feedback. Di ba? So yan, responding to feedback is another competency that we need to develop if we are to be coachable. And then fourth is reflecting on feedback. Hindi ko alam kung na-experience nyo to, Christian, how do I call you? Nastansya?
Tanya na lang. Tanya na lang, Eds.
Tanya na lang daw.
Tanya.
Oo.
Okay, Tanya. Yung meron kang binigyan ng feedback tapos sasabihin sa'yo, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, oo. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think I should change. And then nothing happens after.
Parang, parang hindi
Nangyari na sa akin yan.
mawawala ng gano'n every year, no?
Yung hihingi sa'yo ng feedback, binigyan mo ng feedback, magaling mag-respond to feedback, but they don't really thoroughly reflect on that feedback and bring it to and this is the most important part, yung taking action to improve. Yun yung that this requires discipline taking action to improve, because sometimes when you give people feedback, they tell you what you want to hear, okay, but the real proof of learning from a feedback or from a coaching conversation is taking action to improve. So the rest of my talk this afternoon will focus on these 5 things. We'll start with the first one, pursuing personal development. No? So meron akong 4 dito na statements. No? So these are, you can call this checklist of behavioral indicators that you are that you have a personal development plan, okay, and that you are pursuing it. When I run this, because this presentation that I'm sharing with you is also part of a 2-hour longer sessions. Now, I often ask my participants, I would like to ask you this: if you're going to pick 2 that you think you're doing quite well, which of the 2? And then, if there are 2 here that you think you need to improve on, alin doon? No? I am clear about my personal and professional goals. Okay, yung iba gumagawa pa ng vision board, di ba? Para they post it somewhere they can always see it. Meron ka ba nun? I'm clear about my personal and professional goals. I deliberately take an inventory of my strengths and weaknesses. Okay? Meron kang ito yung mga strengths ko, ito yung mga weaknesses ko, or you can call them opportunities for improvement. No? Yan. Meron ka ba niyan? And then third, I seek to know what kind of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and habits I need to develop. So, kung ako ay, si Christian is an HR manager. Nung ikaw ay HR assistant or HR specialist, at iniisip mo, balang araw gusto kong maging HR manager, ano kaya ang kailangan kong matutunan? No? Christian, to become an HR manager, meron ka ba nung parang dapat makapag-attend ako ng ganitong training? Okay?
During
Dapat
that time,
matutunan ko.
Edwin, yes, no, ginagawa ko yon, correct. Kasi syempre, kailangan noong time na yon, meron din akong, noong time na yon, meron ako definitely mga goals. And yung mga pagsulat-sulat na yon, kumbaga, that served as a reminder na I should not stop learning or looking for opportunities.
Oh, and considering how you look now, Christian, means you're an HR manager at a pretty young age, no? That means your career track is natatawa si Tanya. Your
Narinig
career
yun, bata pa ako, ha?
Nag-react sana ako doon sa age.
Hindi kasi because I know a lot of people who took a really long time, and sometimes marami pang iba, because I'm actively involved in many HR communities. Marami akong kilalang mga naging HR manager by force. Alam mo yon, yung they got the position and they're not even ready for it. Huwag na natin pangalanan. Maraming gano'n, ano? yung nakarating sila doon sa position na yon, they're not even ready for it, and they're not even to learn anymore. So yan, that's very important. And then the fourth is I actively look for opportunities to develop myself. Yun yung pang-apat. So kung titignan dyan, kung meron akong I'm proud of those 4 statements, alin yun? At alin naman doon yung tingin ko I need to strengthen on these two areas. Tanya, kung ikaw ang tatanungin, alin dyan yung strengths para sa'yo at alin naman yung areas for improvement?
Um, Definitely, I think yung point three, Ed, yung I seek to know what kind of knowledge, skills, and attitude and habits I need to develop, especially that I'm fairly new then in the talent development position. Well, fairly, I've been doing this for about a year and wala naman ako experience in the past. So I
Okay.
like to learn about, the things that I need to learn to become a good talent development officer. But I think what I need to improve on is yung um, taking an inventory of my strengths and weaknesses. Well, particularly in taking an inventory, kasi actually yun yung parating coaching namin ni Christian na sinulat mo na ba yung ganito mo? Alam mo na ba yung mga gagawin mong ganyan? Lagi kong nakakalimutan. So, yeah, it's still something I need to work on. I'm practicing. But parang I don't see, I'm not satisfied yet where I am at that stage.
Okay. So yan, importante yan sa emotional intelligence or personal mastery. Self-awareness is a very important part. So recognizing yung bagay that I'm doing a pretty good job at this, isn't and then what do I need to improve on so that I can reach my goal is an important competency uh, in emotional intelligence, yung self-awareness, accurate self-assessment. So good. So I hope yung mga nanonood sa atin also took this opportunity to think about that, no? And hopefully make a decision on how to proceed. Now, ito yung susunod na problema. O alam mo na ngayon, ang tanong, may gagawin ka ba para para to capitalize on the strengths and then work on the areas for improvement. Merong isang concept, it's called the growth mindset, no? Was written by Carol Dweck, no? Ang sabi niya, meron daw dalawang klaseng mindset, yung fixed mindset at saka growth mindset. I want to show you a framework to help people understand what growth mindset means, no? Yung nakikita ninyo sa inyong screen, you have the one on top, no, yung green, and then the one in red below. Yung nasa taas is called growth mindset, yung nandoon sa baba ay fixed mindset. Okay? So let me invest a few minutes to explain this. Ang difference doon sa growth at saka sa fixed mindset ay yung belief and focus, no? Ang belief ng mga taong may growth mindset is that their skills are built and they can learn and grow. So whatever skills you have, it's developed and you can learn it. Yung mga may fixed mindset, ang mindset nila is, I'm born with this talent, ang swerte mo, mahusay ka dyan, ako, mahina ako, ganyan. Skills are born, you can't learn and grow, okay? Even if they reach a certain peak, sasabihin nila, ito na hanggang dito na lang yung kaya ko. Because of that belief, the focus becomes different. For people with growth mindset, ang focus nila is in the process of getting better. So if I believe that I can improve, now I can focus on how do I get better. Okay? Kung fix ang mindset ko, ang focus ko ngayon ay wag mapahiya. Okay? To find my safe zone, no? Ano yung kaya kong gawin at hindi ko kayang gawin. So gagawa ako ng mga bagay na kaya ko lang gawin. At kung hindi ako confident, I won't do it because I don't want to look bad. Okay? Yan. Yung mga taong may growth mindset, hindi takot mapahiya. Okay? So if you have that belief and that focus, it translates to how you deal with practice, okay, challenges, failure, and feedback. So yung mga taong may growth mindset sees practice as useful. Okay? They see it as useful. So they try to practice and try to get better. No, they time themselves, they identify key success indicators, and they try to get better. Yung fixed mindset, hindi umaasa doon. They think it's no use. No, hanggang dito na lang ako kahit bigyan mo pa ako ng opportunity to practice, hanggang dito na lang ako. So what they try to do is they try to avoid practice, all right? Pagdating doon sa challenge, yung mga tao na anong tawag dito, yung mga tao na may growth mindset, embrace and persevere. So frame the challenge as an opportunity. Recently, I picked up a habit. No, I bought a bike. I've not biked for many years, and then I bought a bike. No, I'm inspired to do long rides, and this is fairly recent. Ano, this is fairly recent. So for me to be able to do long rides, because medyo heavy set ako eh. So I need to, una, diet, and then second, do uphill rides. Okay? Because I want to, ang pinakamalayong na ride ko kasi is 20 kilometers. I want to do hundreds of kilometers of rides. And I'm trying to do every day, a couple of kilometers longer than the first ride. Kung ikaw ay hindi naniniwala na kaya mo, you will try to avoid that and then just ride flat. No, look for flat roads to ride. Yun yung you back down and avoid, frame it as a threat. Ayokong gawin yan kasi pag ginawa ko yan, papalpak lang ako. And then, when it comes to failure, ang attitude ng mga may growth mindset is, okay, I failed. What did I learn? Okay? So ang may fixed mindset, that hurts. I won't do it again. Okay? So yan. And then lastly, pagdating sa feedback, people who have fixed mindset try to avoid feedback. So, and if they're given feedback involuntarily, no, by supervisors or friends, they get defensive. They take it personally. They see it as an attack. While people with growth mindset really appreciate it. In fact, they actively seek it. So this is a very important mind frame. If you're going to benefit from any kind of coaching, it's very important that your mindset is in growth rather than fixed mindset. Now, before I move to another topic, let me just highlight a point. Walang tao na growth mindset sa lahat ng bagay or fixed mindset sa lahat ng bagay. Okay? I think that I have a growth mindset in a lot of things, especially in the areas of talent development. I continue to learn. I continue to challenge myself in that area. There's one particular area that my fixed mindset have stayed on since childhood: mathematics. Fixed mindset, and that's very, very important. And I'm still afraid. I have to admit, I'm still afraid of math. Okay, and that's not. Ano ba tayo? Spirit ba tayo? Kindred spirit ba tayo dyan? So
Very
yun,
relatable.
now, meron akong way out. I hired a really good accountant to do the math for me. Okay? But the question now here is, to but what if that fixed mindset is getting in the way of, of your journey towards where you want to be? You will need to address that, no? So, ito ngayon, you need to take an inventory, just like Tanya, what you were saying kanina, no? Strengths and weaknesses, or opportunities for improvement. Which part of your life do you continue to learn and grow? You need to take an inventory of that. And I invite you to do that sometime tonight bago kayo matulog. Part of your life that you feel you're weak at and cannot grow further. Example ko nga, math. And then where do you need to grow to achieve your personal and career goals. Saan ka dapat magkaroon ng growth mindset? And then anong fixed mindset ang kailangan mong i-address because it's hindering you from getting better, no? Ano yung mga kinakatakutan mong subukan dahil natatakot kang mapahiya? Yan. So if you can identify those things, um yung ang kagandahan kasi sa framework na ito, yung growth at saka fixed mindset is not fixed. Meaning if you have a fixed mindset now, you can change your mind. Although that's not the easiest thing to do. Uh, but if you can make that decision, say, starting tomorrow, I'm removing that fixed mindset. I'm going to start exploring it. Meron ako dating staff, nag-take siya ng math, nag-math major siya. And the reason why she took up a major in mathematics is because mahina siya sa math. That's what you call, di ba? Growth mindset. Sabi niya, hindi ko mapayagan yung sarili ko na mabubuhay akong mahina sa math. That's why I took up a college course. Nag-double major siya just so to address yung kanyang weakness sa mathematics. No? I wish I was that brave. Pero yun, di ba? Yan. And then, you need to take on what we call principles of lifelong learning. So, coachable people adopt the principles of lifelong learning. Maraming mga tao, pagka-graduate, akala nila tapos na, no? Ang konti-konti lang nung natutunan natin sa eskwela na applicable sa workplace, eh. Sa HR, sa talent development, meron namin tinatawag na 70-20-10 rule. 10% of what you know right now came from formal education. Just 10%, training. 20% came from your interactions with people, including coaches, supervisors, friends, peers, no? And then the huge part, the 70% part, is really experience. So the learning is ongoing. So ano mga principles to? I want to go over these principles, and in the hope that you can take it up or adopt these principles. The first one is you need to recognize that change is constant. No, how are you anticipating change? In one HR group, may nag-share ng post about how the HR role is changing and that some of the skills in HR will become obsolete in the future. Okay, there was that conversation. And then ang daming defensive. Hindi pwedeng mawala ang HR. Hindi mapapalitan ng AI yan. Yan, that's a dangerous assumption na hindi mapapalitan yung mga aspects ng HR. I'm a trainer, and some years ago, actually more than a decade ago, we were worried about computers replacing us. And some people are saying, no, that's never gonna happen. But it's happening now, no? Pero hindi ka naman mawawala ng trabaho, magbabago lang yung trabaho mo. Now the question is, are you able to adapt to that change? So that's very important. They're saying, balik tayo kay Michael Jordan, that the way the game is being played now is different from the times ahead of Jordan. Okay? So may mga bago sa paglalaro. So you should be able to adapt to that. So change is constant is the number one principle. Second principle is you need to invest in your learning. Okay? Couple of questions. 4 questions actually. I want you to think about and answer on your own. Number 1, do you wait for your company to send you to training to learn something? Yan, maraming ganyang mga tao nagrereklamo, itong kumpanya ko hindi ako pinadadala sa training. Hello. The knowledge is at the tip of your fingers, no? In the many years that I've been alive on earth, there's no better time than now when it comes to learning, because learning is so accessible now. Information is so accessible. Second, do you save some amount of what you earn to continuing education or for self-paced learning. Yan. Nung ako'y nagsisimula sa training, some parts of my salary goes to buying books because there are certain books that my company won't allow me to buy because they're expensive. So I buy them because I'm thinking the company doesn't think I need the skill, but given my vision of where I want to be, training assistant ako noon eh. I want to set up a training company. That was the ambition. Nung ako'y training assistant, in-ambition ko na magtatayo ako ng kumpanya giving training and HR consulting. Hindi nakikita nung company ko yon. And okay lang yon kasi meron silang specific need. But my need is different from the need of my company. So I allocate some amount of my savings or earnings to personal and professional development. Third, do you join professional organizations or communities of practice? If you're an engineer, there are a lot of associations among engineers. If you're an accountant, there's a PICPA. I'm an active member of the Philippine Society for Talent Development because that's where we congregate and exchange notes, exchange practice. Diba? Kasi kung yung nakikita mo lang environment doon sa kumpanya mo, tapos wala kang ibang nakikita and that's all you learn, ang tawag sa'yo inbred. Ang pangit pakinggan. Ano? Yung ang natututunan mo lang yung within your you're breathing your own carbon dioxide. Kailangan nakakakuha ka ng ibang perspective. And then fourth, do you invest time talking to people who can share some of their wisdom? In short, may mentor ka ba? 'Di ba? Meron ka bang mentor? Meron ka bang mako-consider itong tao na to, I respect this person, I like to hear his or her wisdom on this practice. It helps to have that. And there's no shame in that. In fact, you can have more. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. The third principle is learning is ongoing. Okay? I don't know if you've heard of this quote before, no? Sabi ni Toffler, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and learn and relearn. I think that's pretty heavy stuff, no? But also self-explanatory. And this one's very important. Success is not just a destination. Eh. Walang graduation. Sabi nga ni Zig Ziglar, it's a journey. So I'd like to think that when I'm really old, I will continue to learn. And that's a decision that I made. Marami ako na-encounter kasi I work with private and public organizations. Minsan may mga na-encounter ako ng mga tao, sasabi sa akin, di ko na kailangan yan. Bakit magre-retire na ako eh? Kailan ka magre-retire? Mga in 3 years time. Sabi ko, 3 years, haba pa nun. Di ba? So, don't focus on the destination, focus on the journey. Ito is very important. Knowing yourself, knowing your strength, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you want, knowing your values, knowing your mission in life is essential because that helps you focus on what kind of knowledge and skills you need to develop. And this one, you don't need to do this alone. Okay? Meron ka bang allies, no? Meron ka bang mga tao? Are you surrounded by people who are actually able to help you grow? Okay? I want to show you a matrix. Ito totohanan to kasi ito yung aking 2021 goals, no? And as you can see, I need to reduce weight and improve strength because I want to bike longer and farther, okay? I want to be able to write a book on learning and development. I promised myself that in 2020. Hindi ko nagawa, but I'm basically 70% there. So I should be able to do that in 2021. I also want to improve business performance to survive the pandemic because we're heavily affected by the pandemic. this industry, right? And then I want to be able to level up my training design skill to capitalize on the available learning technology. Because even if the pandemic is gone, we are not going to go back 100% to face-to-face training. That's my comfort zone. Okay, that the face-to-face training. But what I want to do is get better at doing this kind of learning engagement. No. So what are the helps I need? It's listed there. Okay, now my goal is to surround myself with people. I didn't write their names. Baka ako'y data privacy data privacy issue. But there are people who are helping me get this done. In short, you don't need nakalagay dito sa aking presentation picking a coach. I should have put pick coaches, no, or picking coaches. You don't need one coach, you need a lot of them, and that shouldn't be bad. So have you thought about that? Sino-sino yung mga taong pwedeng maka-impluwensya sa akin, makatulong sa akin para ma-achieve ko yung goal ko? And I've met a lot of people. This is what they do. No, they surround themselves with people who can help them. There. So now, kung na-identify mo na yung coach na mga coaches na makakatulong sa'yo, you need to build a trusting relationship with your coach. Now, in a perfect world, you will be able to identify coaches who are professionals, who are highly skilled, highly trained to do coaching work. But what will happen is you will have coaches who probably don't even have coaching skills. So you need to take the matter into your own hands, no? So how do you do that, no? You need to clarify yung mga expectations, no? So the question now is, if you're a coach or a mentor, what would you expect from your coachee or your mentee? Siyempre, gusto mo responsive, di ba? Pagka nag-uusap kayo, yung napag-agrihan ninyo, ay nasusunod, those kind of things. So what you can do is, establish what we call coaching relationship ground rules. How often should you meet? How do you communicate outside the meetings? No? What are the feedback or rules of engagement? Madalas, kapag may coaching na nangyayari, if you're employed in a company, merong trigger. Ang trigger yung pagkakamali. A real coaching engagement is scheduled. We meet every week, we meet every 2 weeks, we meet every one, whatever the length is, it is scheduled, no? And then outside of those meetings, how do we exchange notes? How do we communicate? And then when we have to give each other feedback, whether the coach or the coachee, how do we give those feedbacks? Sabi nga, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Si Ken Blanchard, no, said that. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Hindi ka pwede maging champion kung allergic ka sa feedback. So in that case, you have to ask yourself, okay, nagagawa ko ba to? I actively ask my supervisor or leader for coaching to help me improve. Yan. Do I actively seek feedback from others even if it's critical? Do I maintain interest in how my actions impact on others? Do I find feedback from others as critical to my growth? Yan. So actively seek feedback, no? Alin dito yung strength mo, alin dito yung areas for improvement, no? Bakit kailangan mo mag-seek ng feedback? Why seek feedback? Okay? Don't wait for people to give you feedback, especially your boss. Ito yung dahilan. Number 1, dapat alam niya na yun eh. Bakit? Di ba? You should know those things. It's common sense. So sometimes people think you should know. You're old enough to know. So they won't tell you unless you ask for it. Second is, hindi naman ako interesado magbigay ng feedback sa kanya. And then the third is, ito, very Filipino ito. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Di ba? So they will only open up to give you feedback if you let them. And by letting them, that means you solicit the feedback. How to seek feedback? Yan. Unang-una, you have to change how you feel about feedback. Second, Ano ba yung hinahanap mo? Anong klaseng feedback? You have to be specific about the kind of feedback, no? Ask in real time. Sa mga kumpanya, naghihintay sila ng 6 months or 1 year during performance appraisal. That's too late. Okay? Post specific questions. Do you have feedback for me versus what do you think should I improve in writing my report? Okay? This one's very powerful. Thank you for that feedback. Please tell me more. Okay? And then last, don't just wait for feedback from your boss. Turn to your colleagues. No, ask them for their feedbacks as well. Now, how do you respond to feedback? You should be able to frequently try to take others people's perspective. So, cognitive flexibility ang tawag dito. Hindi yung nag-stick ka lang sa sarili mong perspective. I regularly seek to understand others' viewpoints. I don't cover up mistakes and I avoid getting defensive when I receive feedback. Pag naging defensive ka sa binigay na feedback sa'yo, yung magbibigay sa'yo ng feedback, hindi na uulit. So that's very important. I always tell my participants that ultimately the constructiveness of the feedback depends on the receiver, not on the giver. Do you agree? Whether it's an insult, a criticism, scolding, complaint, is it plain feedback, recognition, appreciation, coaching, all of it depends on how you take them. Minsan, appreciation na nga, hindi mo pa matake. Uy, ang ganda naman ng ginawa mo. Ang galing-galing mo. Hindi naman. Di ba? So, nawala na yung constructiveness kasi dinideny mo eh. Di ba? So, kahit na insulto pa yan, even if the intention of the other person is to hurt your feeling, and then you say, you know, I can learn something from what you said. I think I can be better because of that feedback. Thank you for that feedback. Iniinsulto ka, no? Tapos sabi mo, thank you for that feedback. It really helped me a lot. Baka may umiyak sa inis, ano? So how do you reflect on feedback? You think about how to integrate and apply new learning to your work. This is very important. How do I use this feedback? Okay? I explore how to use feedback to constantly improve. Okay? Paano ko pa to gagamitin? And then I can synthesize seemingly divergent feedback. Minsan kasi conflicting ang feedback ng mga tao. Depende doon sa kanilang perspective. So you can use it, no? Even if they're conflicting. And then I reflect on past experiences and my actions. Tinitingnan mo, okay, yeah, meron akong critical incidents about this feedback that I think I can apply this feedback on when I get the next opportunity to do it. So yeah, it's very important. And then last is taking action to improve. No? How do you do that? I take action to improve based on feedback. Okay. I track my personal progress and growth. Can you imagine if you're dealing with an athlete, if you're a coach and you're dealing with an athlete, it's very important that the athlete is taking stock of how he or she is improving. Is it speed? Is it height? No? Is it technique? Importante yun na natatrack mo yan eh. I'm good at following through to achieve goals for my improvement. Nako, weakness ng karamihan po ito. Yung follow through. Oo. Yan. Oo, malapit na naman natin gawin yan. New Year's resolution. Okay? Following through. And then last, I stick with my improvement efforts until I truly am better. This one's very, very important because nothing frustrates a coach more than a lack of improvement. Okay? So, I'd like to really quickly, I'm over time na pala, just quickly go over this. Ito ay method na ginagamit ng mga coach. I want to show you how you can use it to your coach. Okay? Minsan nahihirapan tayong mag-respond kasi hindi natin naiintindihan yung coaching structure. Ang typical coaching structure is called GROW by John Whitmore. No? Goal, reality, options, and will. Now, I made here a matrix, okay? Para makita natin example, no? So yung example ko dito, I want to develop the skills needed to qualify for a supervisory position. So assuming hindi pa ako supervisor ngayon. So ngayon yung reality, where are you now? I have strong technical skills. Wala pa akong experience sa leadership. It's untested. That's my current situation. Ngayon, that can be a barrier to yung first, good, that helps me. That's a helping factor. Yung I have strong technical skills. Yung leadership skills ko is a barrier because it's low. So ano ngayon gagawin ko? Maybe I should attend training on leadership. Maybe ask to lead the team, ask the boss to lead the team on a project. And then third, maybe read books on fundamental leadership skills. No? And then yung way forward is to put that in action. May what will you do? Dapat meron ako nilagay dito. What will you do and when? Okay? Dapat accountable ka. A plan without a deadline is a wish. Okay? So when am I going to attend the training? When do I ask my boss to give me a project team to lead? And then how often am I going to have a coaching conversation with my boss about my progress in demonstrating my learning or my leadership skill? So in the conversation, you follow that structure. Okay? Kung skilled ang yung coach in coaching, he or she will lead this. Kung hindi, you can lead it, no? You can lead it and get inputs from your boss. So ultimately, napakahalaga yung yung success indicators. If you ask an athlete to run, okay? And then pagkatapos niyang umikot doon sa stadium, tinanong niya, am I faster now? Yeah, you're faster. How fast? Wala, feeling ko lang, you're faster now. Parang malabo di ba? What you do is you expect somebody, maybe a coach, to hold the clock and tell you how well you're doing, how much you're progressing. That's why you need somebody there to support your developmental need. So I'd like to end this presentation with this. No? Sabi ni Lao Tzu, mastering others is strength. And often ganun tayo outward. We try to master others. Pero sabi niya, mastering yourself is true power. So seeking coaching is a journey towards self-mastery. In fact, talent development is geared towards helping people achieve self-mastery. But they can only achieve self-mastery if they're willing. We can only achieve self-mastery if we're willing. So, I hope that this short session helped you recognize ano ngayon ang kailangan kong simulang gawin. Ano ngayon yung mga bagay that's hindering me from benefiting from having a coaching engagement or relationship that I should stop. And then what are the things that I do that, I should continue. So always ask yourself this. Every time there is a learning opportunity, what should I start doing, stop doing, and continue doing? There. So maraming salamat po for the opportunity to present this framework on coachability. And if there are any questions, I would love to answer them.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Sir Edwin. Sobrang nakarelate ako, no? Especially nung binanggit mo yung yung nagbabike ka. Kasi I'm also into biking. And pag nagbabike ka, wala kang choice. Kundi you should really have a growth mindset. Especially kung yung mga kasama mo, mambubudol. Diba? Wala kang choice Kumbaga, kung sila, kaya na lang yung mga tawag doon yung mga paahon, madali na lang sa kanila. Pero once nagtutulong ka na, wala ka ng choice You really need to have that growth mindset. Kasi if you don't, and you have that fixed mindset, may iwan ka. Sayang
Or
naman.
hindi ka na sasama
hindi
ulit.
mo rin makikita. Di ba? Yeah, so mahirap eh. So unlike kapag may growth mindset ka, nakita mo ang taas nung aahunin mo, eh kaya mo. So doon, kaya nakaka-relate talaga ako doon. How about you, Tanya?
Well, ako syempre, because yun nga, nabanggit kanina, you have to be coachable so that you can develop and you can improve on your career. So medyo doon ako nag-focus kasi hindi naman tayo nagbabike, no? Alam naman natin hindi tayo active ang lifestyle natin. So, but yeah, so doon ako nag-focus kasi nga I know, feeling ko lahat ng mga topics natin sa ThinkTank parating may kinalaman sa improvement ko personally in my career, which I'm very grateful for, especially in this topic. Baka nga mag-reach out ako kay Edwin after this for
Sure.
opportunity siguro to connect. Baka po meron kayong may bibigay pang additional tips sa akin on how I can improve being, you've been doing this business for a long time. Ako naman sobrang bago. So I know I can probably learn a lot from you and probably apply din natin yung coachability dun sa
Oh, I think that's the first mindset to take, to look for people who can help you. And very few people will say no. Especially to one who is willing. Ako ang problema ko sa mga mine-mentor yung yung i-mentor mo naman ako, pag mine-mentor mo na nawawala. They realize it's a heavy challenge and they're not up to it. Sasabihin sa'yo, di ka na ma-joke. Binabola lang kita.
Well, ako, actually, very, very, parang sobrang excited ako to actually learn more because, well, I want to see myself grow then. This is my dream job and I want to be good at it. So,
Wow.
if I can find anyone who can help me, become better, to reach a certain, meron kasi ako sinet na standards for myself. No, sana kapag na-reach ko yun, dun lang ako talaga siguro pwedeng magsabi na I'm done or I really have achieved yung gusto kong marating sa buhay. So I'm not there yet and I actually would definitely appreciate yung mga people like you and yung even si Christian, yung mga nagiging boss ko, in giving me feedback on how I can improve para umabot tayo dun sa level na gusto natin.
Wow.
Ayun.
I'm happy for you.
Anyway, I think we actually have a couple of questions, no, Christian, for
Yes,
Sir Ed.
correct. Actually, Sir Ed, you mentioned kanina na rin naman, 'di ba? May mga minentor ka na yung nawawala. Meron ba talagang mga tao na uncoachable, yung talagang kahit anong gawin mo, hindi talaga sila pwedeng ma-coach?
Oh, kasi kung yung tao is overtaken by a fixed mindset, there's really nothing you can do about those people unless they change their mindset. What we do, I'm a trainer, and what I do is I open up opportunities to learn by presenting information. The decision to absorb that information and basically to run away with that idea is up to the person. So coaching works to people na they say, okay, yeah, I'll take that and then I'll run away with it. Yun. Effective yung inyong naging coaching conversation. Pero kung sasabihin ko na lang dito sa tao na to, okay na, para tumigil na lang.
Para hindi na no? Para matapos na.
Matapos na yung usapan. Daldal eh.
Wala, hindi natututo eh. Correct, tama.
Well, ako, actually, may question ako, Sir Ed, din, related to coaching pa din, syempre. So, is there, or how long should a coaching relationship last for it to actually work? Like, meron ba dapat specific time frame or standard for us to say na it works?
Yung in a properly scoped coaching engagement, merong goal doon sa GROW, merong goal. And yung goal na yon should be time-bounded. So, yung time for the coaching is until that particular goal is achieved. Ngayon, kung maraming goals, maybe hindi na coaching lang yon, baka mentoring na yon, where the engagement is more long-term. Therefore, there will be series of coaching conversation. I'd like to use this metaphor, no? Si Freddie Roach at saka si Manny Pacquiao, no? So ang tawag kay Freddie Roach, coach. Pero actually, kino-coach ni Freddie Roach si Manny Pacquiao about sports, about boxing, when he has a fight. The goal is to win. So until he wins, they need to have these regular coaching engagements. Okay, but outside of coaching, and I've heard Manny talked about this, even Freddie Roach in some of those documentaries, that mentor ni Manny si Freddie Roach. So hindi na lang boxing ang pinag-uusapan, pati life decisions, pati pera pinag-uusapan, pati yung kanyang political career. So dun lumalaki, no? So that's how different coaching is from mentoring. Mentors coach. Okay? Not all coaches are mentors. So pwedeng kung from the perspective of the coachee, I can have coaches to address my specific developmental needs, and I can have people who I look up to serve as my mentor. So maybe between you, Tanya, and Christian is a mentor, no, who does some coaching on specific performance objectives or learning objectives that you may have.
Yes, mentor.
Okay, correct, tama naman.
Hula
Sir
ko
Edwin,
lang yun.
Ito, may question ulit ako. What if there's someone, no, who wants to be a great coach, not just a coach, he wants to be a great coach in the future. Ano sa tingin mo yung dapat na, yung alam mo yun, yung mga essential traits about that na they have to start nurturing ngayon pa lang?
I think that another term for coachable is teachable. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, if you want to be a great coach, you must train yourself to be a great coach. Meaning, looking at ano ba yung mga concepts and frameworks that I need to understand about being a great coach. Ano yung mga competencies that I need to develop. It's more than just knowing how to facilitate conversations. There are certain attitudes that you need to embrace. There are certain conceptual skills like problem solving, decision making, cognitive flexibility, listening skills. Yung mga yon, ano? So if you are open to all of those things because you have an objective of becoming a great coach, then you will take that journey, and then eventually you will find yourself a sought after and effective coach. So open-mindedness is first. Hindi lang siguro open-mindedness, siguro hunger for learning. Yung eagerness to really become a great coach. I think that's the first thing to becoming a great coach. Kasi if you don't want it, you won't get there.
Well noted yan, Sir Edwin. We have a question here from one of our viewers in our Facebook Live. Her name is Carminda Artandel Carmen. Yeah. So, ang question niya, sir, how can she seek feedback from dun sa dapat niyang makuhaan ng feedback, especially kapag open siya for improvements?
To call that person's attention. Go to that person, which is, I know, is easier said than that, especially in our culture. Kasi sa culture natin, hierarchical You wait for feedback, you don't seek it. But I will tell you that in my years of experience, I've met a lot of people who are very successful now, who went to me for feedback rather than me giving feedback. Okay, because one of the things I teach conflict management, but I don't like confrontations. I have a natural aversion to confrontation. So, pagka meron akong mga feedback na gustong ibigay sa tao, I lose sleep over it. But I know I have to do it, so I do it. So, the simple answer is go to that person and tell that person, Sir Christian, and I just did my presentation, and I know you were observing, and I want to be better the next round. Pwede mo ba akong bigyan ng feedback about what I did well and where can I improve? Simple as that, no? And then kapag ito kasi madalas, because mga Pilipino, karamihan, conflict avoiders. Okay naman yung mo, okay naman yung presentation mo. Okay. Ang sasabihin, pagka ganun na sagot, okay, which part is okay? Which part do you like about my presentation? At saka kung I don't mind you nitpicking and go straight to the point if you have to. Alin yung hindi mo nagustuhan doon sa aking presentation? That, para yung nag-iiwas pusoy sa feedback mapunta doon sa specific na feedback that you want to hear.
Okay. Actually, meron pa akong
Natatawa
isang
ako dun sa yung sinabi mo, Sir Edley.
Alin doon?
iwas pusoy.
Yung okay naman.
Oo.
Oo, kasi tapos pag tinanong mo alin doon, sabi, lahat, okay lahat. So wala ka na rin naman nakuha na maayos na feedback. Diba?
Kasi mga tao talaga hindi, may mga taong hindi comfortable. Sige, Tanya.
Actually, yeah, may pahabol na question po. Siguro this person is probably also looking to get coached. Kasi the question is, what if you're so ready to be coached? Like, ready ako to receive feedback, but you are a very small company where nobody wants to engage with you as a coach. Either walang masyadong experience para i-coach ka, or wala silang time masyado to coach you. So, where can you get the coaching that you need?
Kung wala, well, two things, The first one is you don't really need a label. Okay? You can, if there's someone in your organization na sa tingin mo, ang tawag nila diyan yung picking their brains. You can pick their brains, and yayain mo lagi sa lunch. Kahit wag mo na ilibre, kikibin na lang. Kaibiganin mo, and then and have an informal an informal mentoring relationship. So that can happen. So you can be proactive about it. The other one would be yun nga, enlarge your community of learning or community of practice. For example, I mentioned earlier, I'm part of this organization which is called Philippine Society for Talent Development. It used to be Philippine Society for Training and Development. Why did I stay in that organization for a long time? Because that's where I get knowledge, wisdom, exchanges of notes, advice if I need from people who are better than me, people with years of experience. And then I hear about their best practices. No, do we have a formal coaching relationship? Walang but because I know my agenda and I'm following my personal development agenda. There are people who are, well, they're not necessarily waiting for me to ask, but when I ask, I know they will answer. Di ba? Part yun ng coachability. It doesn't have to be like, you coach, me coachee. Doesn't have to be like that. If you really want a formal coaching engagement, you have to pay a coach, no? Because meron namang mga professional coaches who can help you. And if you think it's worth it, kasi ano bang worth ng what is the worth of you think you're at this level of mediocrity and you want to reach a level of excellence? What's the worth of that? Diba? Is that something that you're willing to invest in? Ako ay assistant ngayon. Balang araw gusto kong maging director and I need a coach to get me there. What's the worth of that? Depende sa tao 'di ba? So anong binavalue mo? 'Di ba? Kung may pang ML ka, or kung meron kang pang bisyo, baka pwedeng meron ka ring pang personal development that you can invest in.
Okay, okay. Well noted, Sir Ed. Yung pala sa akin pala galing yung question, no? Hindi pala sa phone. But anyway, thank you very much,
Ayun,
informative.
Tanya, join PSTD.
Yes po, actually, pinag-uusapan na namin yun. Mukhang mag-join na tayo dyan by next year. Yan ang target natin. So, hello, Workbank. Hello, Christian. Boss ko, si
Okay lang, coach, para ma-reach mo yan.
Oh, yan ang ultimate goal natin for 2021. Thank you po. Thank you, Sir Ed, or Ed. Hindi ko matanggal yung sir. For the tips that you have given us today. Talagang super well ako kasi I guess I'm someone who is really looking forward to really improve on myself. So the coachability is really something that I need to be to have in myself, and hopefully everyone else who's watching us today na-enlighten yung mga kaisipan natin how important it is to be coachable para you can also develop your own skills and your career if you're also looking forward to that. So I know nag-overtime na tayo. So before we say goodbye, I also would like to just take this opportunity to remind everyone who's watching that all our Workbank Think Tank episodes, especially those that are done in the past, including this one, are all going to be found or can be found on our Facebook page. If for some reason you were dropped off during the session or you joined us halfway through it, you can always go back to our Facebook page and view the rest of the other video entirely. If you also want to share the video to other people who you think might benefit from this session, then please do so. So, yun lang. Thank you very much ulit, Ed. Thank you everyone for giving us your time today. This is going to be our last session for the year. So we will see you next year by 2021 for the next episode of Workbank Think Tank. And advance happy holidays to you guys. Happy weekend.
Holidays.
Thank you. Let everyone.